YouTube viewers, Rectangular back, this time with another haul video. Here from Entertainment Earth we have the Guardians of the Galaxy comic series box set, and I was extremely happy to get this, mostly just for Gamora and Drax. But yeah, I'm a huge Guardians fan, and was quite a surprise to get shipping notification this week because they were not supposed to ship until August 31st. So if you haven't already ordered them, they are in stock, so take advantage while you can now. Alright, let's open up the box and then you can see what they look like in the window, and then we'll take them out of the package and check out the paint apps. Hasbro did a really good job on the packaging of this set. It's nice to get some really good artwork and open up the box and be able to look at all the figures, check out all the paint applications. I don't know how many. I'm assuming you'll be able to get this not only online, but if your comic book store goes through Entertainment Earth for distribution, they can probably order it through them as well. But you're probably going to pay a markup, so I would try to go through Entertainment Earth until they're sold out. But is it worth $120 shipped? I don't know particularly. It is if you don't own the previous releases of these figures, but I'm a huge Guardians fan, and just to get an updated Groot, Gamora, and Drax, I'm willing to shell out the money. The head on Rocket is not bad either, but wish that they could have gone with different paint schemes, but we'll get into that in a minute. Alright, let's get these guys out of the package. Here we have all the figures out of the package, and overall pretty happy. The only figure I was really hoping it would have great paint apps is Gamora, and unfortunately she's the only one that really has paint issues that I can see. Get her, and I just wanted to do a setup where you can put the hoodless head on the figure with the cape, in conjunction with the cape. So you just have to push down on it a good amount to get her hair to fit on there, but fortunately her hair is a softer material than, say, if you got the Thundra figure from the Hulkbuster series. That thing is solid. You can't get hardly any articulation out of that head, but the hair is soft enough on her where she can rotate it well if you own Moonstone or any of the other, the Miss Marvel that has the same hair. But hopefully you can see on camera that her chest, the gold stripe there, and the green paint, the darker green paint on her right breast is a little spotty. And I don't know if that's because of the poncho rubbing up against the figure in the package, or if the paint was just a little bit wet when they added her to the package. They put that that poncho sits on top, so I wish they had packed the poncho behind the cape, so that that wouldn't be a risk of paint issue, paint rub. And then on her forearm, I don't know if that's showing up on camera either, but the green from her glove is smeared into the gold paint there, so hopefully I can just cover that up with some gold paint. But that's disappointing, because this is the only figure that has pretty detailed, well, a couple of the others, Star-Lord and Drax, have some detailed paint areas, but this one is the one you really want to pop. And it's the first time we finally have a comic accurate Gamora, and that it's a little bummer for me, but I'm still very happy to get her, and hopefully with some modifications I can get her looking A+. But otherwise they did a really good job on the paint. in all the other areas. This head turned out really well, and I wish that they had put this open mouth head on that sculpt, and you know, the regular head on the closed mouth, the Miss Marvel head on this one, because I think you're going to use this a lot less, and it's nice to have an alternate look. You know, I'm tired of them reusing that Moonstone head. The paint on the sword looks good, no major issues, and you know, I don't think it's a bad looking sword. I never owned the Black Knight, so it's a new sword for me. And Drax turned out really well. The paint on him is great. Really like the gauntlets. They're kind of a softer material, and they do rotate, so that's very cool. I like that for, you know, different setups where you can have the lights exposed or not, and all his joints are really good. The you know, nothing too stiff or too loose on him. Very happy the way he turned out. Groot, the right shoulder is a little bit loose on mine. You can see that there, but otherwise he turned out well. The plastic is a little rubbery. Still same consistent as the Build-A-Figure. You know, it's the same figure except for the head sculpt. I do like how the head sculpt has still got, it's still just on a peg, but you can kind of stick it on there loose and get him to look up a good amount. So I like that. Let me get my arm out of the way. So not too shabby on him. It's a pretty cool head sculpt. And Star-Lord is the same except for the paint on the boots and the belt. And mine turned out fine. Don't see any paint issues or issues with the plastic. I know a lot of people, they got the wrong feet, and now that I'm looking at mine, no, I guess that's right. He's got the correct feet on, so that's good. And you know, these guns are pretty disappointing. They're not painted. They're just this silvery looking plastic, and it looks very fake. Looks like dollar store toys. I already had this from my Marvel Universe set, so you know, if you don't have that, that's going to be a nice accessory. The potted Groot. I already had this Cosmic Cube from my Red Skull, so if you don't have that figure, that's another nice accessory to get. This one, it doesn't quite look perfectly square, so it's a little wompy jawed, but not too bad. And Rocket, paint looks good on him. The alternate head turned out pretty well. He can look up fairly well amount, and look down not quite as much. The peg goes down, but his collar, there we go, got it to go down all the way. So not too shabby, especially if you don't already own Rocket. I think he's going to look a lot like this in the animated series. And I already had this gun from S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Coulson, but mine got really warped in the package, and we could see that, so probably will not be using that for anything. And this gun, the paint apps for the blue lines didn't quite make it on the back vents there. It's a little bit off on mine, but overall I like the general look of this thing. And yeah, it's nice to get a new weapon for Rocket. Alright, so yeah, overall I'm very happy, and hopefully you guys have better luck with your set as far as Gamora goes in the paint department. And let's move on to the next big set that I got today. Next up, we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for 2015 Book of the Vishanti Marvel Legends box set. I already took the ribbon that goes around the front so you could get a better look at the nice paint on the outside with the eye of Agamotto. Very well done, and let's open her up and take a closer look. I'm not going to bore you guys, just want to quickly turn the pages of the book here. You can see how nice everything turned out. Just beautiful, beautiful artwork. Really nice attention to detail. You're really getting your money's worth on this set. And very cool Hela there on the left. And then we have the figures, of course. So yeah, I think they did a really, really amazing job packaging this set, and probably one of the most attractive just products in general that I've got in a very long time. So let's get the figures out of the box and get a closer look at them. Hot damn, these figures look nice. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. The sculpt and paint, the molds, everything just out of the park as far as I'm concerned. Hasbro really did an excellent job. Don't have any issues with warpages or loose joints or tight joints. Everything extremely well done. The paint is amazing. The only minor issues are the belt on Dormammu, the red paint on the details there of his, I guess you want to call those jewels. The studs that are painted red are a little bit sloppy, so probably need to go back and touch that up. The range of motion seems a little bit better on these figures as far as the ankle joints, so I don't know if Hasbro made some improvements to the molds, but very happy with the way those turned out. The only other issue is the red paint from the velvet that the the figures are secured in the package with transferred to some of the figures. I was able to rub off most of it with my fingertip. Hela still has a little bit of red on the top of her helmet there, and I think maybe on her forearm, but for the most part it does rub off without any any vigorous solvents or anything like that, so just keep that in mind. The only minor issue from a joint perspective is the head on my Doctor Strange is a little bit loose, not nearly as bad as the regular Hulkbuster release, but that's about the only issue with this set as far as the joints go. So extremely happy. Paint, like I said, Dormammu's the only one I have issues with, otherwise everyone looks fantastic. So let's get started with Doctor Strange. The lines really well done. I think the translucent plastic looks great. You can I don't know if it's picking up off of Dormammu, but his forearms are a little bit purple. I think that's just a reflection off of Dormammu and these skulls here. But I think they did a really good job. Just see a little tiny bit of bleeding from the silver paint into his belt, but other than that, it looks fantastic. I was worried that the paint, the eyebrows and mustache were going to be a little too dark, that it would look like this floating facial hair, but it looks pretty good. It's not nearly as bold as I thought it was going to be in person or even on camera. Dormammu, I think they did a really good job. I like the what's it called, translucent plastic for the forearms and the hands. Really nice transition there. I think the head sculpt turned out great. Like the lighter flames in the top there. So really good job with the translucence, and the red is a little bit sloppy. I know they're trying to go for like a shaded look. I don't know if I'm going to try to add some more red or just leave it. I think I'll probably just leave it. It looks a little more realistic that way, I think. And I can see that red from the velvet still stuck on his waistcoat there, so I'll have to rub that off. But overall, I'm really happy with him. I'm glad they went with a bigger Drax mold, because if they had just done like a Hyperion, I think he'd be way too small. So very happy with him. Brother Voodoo, he looks great. Don't have any major complaints with him. I really like the way that they did the cape in two parts. where it's got the Eye of Agamotto piece, and that sits on top of the regular cape. So very happy with that. The head articulation is going to be hindered by that that cape does sit up pretty high, but overall I'm really happy with him. I like the way the skulls turned out on his cane here, his wand, whatever you want to call it, staff, sorry. Really good job on that. I like the transition from the illuminated to the wood. And Hela I was most excited to get, and I was really worried about the paint applications with all those lines, but man, it looks fantastic. I can't get over how good that figure looks. The paint job is just amazing. The only major complaint I have is the paint for her flesh tone doesn't go all the way underneath the head, so you can see the green plastic if you look close enough, like from the side or underneath. So I'll probably go back and touch that up so that the flesh goes all the way underneath the head sculpt. But these crown pieces turned out really well. They pop in very easily, and I was surprised how they chose a very nice quality plastic. It's not too soft and not too brittle, so it pops in there real nice, and it maintains its shape really well. And yeah, they're not warped at all in the package. At least my set turned out perfect, so extremely happy with that. Be careful when you take her out of the package because of the soft goods. I was afraid that the cape was going to get frayed or ripped or snagged on the plastic. So just be gentle when you're taking her out. I was a little bit excited when I got her. And then, of course, we have the Sister of Colossus, and she looks really well done. I like the softer plastic for the hair, where you can rotate that sideways and still get some pretty good range of motion. She can't really look up because of all the hair in the back, but you can get her to turn side to side fairly well. Let's see if I can show you that. So that's really nice that the hair, even with all her hair, that she can still look side to side. And yeah, that looks great. Paint turned out great. The only real issue with her is the well, her bangs hang over her eyebrows, so that's not really a big deal. And then her sword is a little bit warped, so hopefully I can heat that up a little bit and get it straightened. It's not bad, but it just has a little bit of a curvature to it. I don't know if it's showing up on camera there. You can see that. So not too bad. I wish we had gone with a little bit sturdier plastic. It's just a tiny bit on the soft side. Same with this one. It's just a little bit warped, but not too bad. It's a little bit on the soft side. I would have liked to have seen it a little more rigid plastic, but not going to complain too much about that. Overall, extremely happy, and yeah, definitely pull the trigger on the set if you can find it for a decent price. That's totally worth it. One of the best sets of Marvel Legends that I've ever seen and that I've ever owned. So hopefully we'll start seeing this good of paint applications on the regular released figures. I think a lot of us have been complaining about that, and my buddy Diego brought that up at the Hasbro panel there at San Diego Comic-Con, so hopefully they are listening to us. What an exciting time for Marvel Legends collectors. Wow, and we're only halfway through the year. So with that, hopefully you guys like the video, you share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and I always love hearing back from you guys, so please leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.